If you want a really simple sourdough loaf recipe, you should try this one.
Isn't that a gorgeous loaf?
It's light, it's airy, it's got a great flavor, and a chewy texture. It makes the perfect toast on which to spread your favorite jam. It makes a great grilled cheese, and a fantastic French toast. And unlike traditional sourdoughs, this one only takes 1 day to make. So first thing in the morning, you'll get your sourdough starter out, feed it, and then wait until they are nice and bubbly and active. Now you don't have to use one of these kitchen scales, but I want to show you exactly why it's so helpful. And that's because after you add something to it, you can hit the reset button. So to the bowl I add 260 grams of water, then I hit that reset button and boom, back to 0. Next I add 8 grams of salt, then reset again, then I add 300 grams of all-purpose flour. So instead of using cups or spoons or other measuring devices, the scale just does it all. And don't worry about being so precise here, unless that sort of thing brings you joy. Then add 110 grams of whole wheat flour. Then it's time to add the starter, and it needs 180 grams of active starter. Or one way I like to describe it is one big blob. Then just get rid of your scale, we're done with that, and grab your stand mixer. Get that dough hook on, turn it on, and then you're just going to let that mix for about 5 minutes. This gives the dough some time to develop a gluten structure, and if needed, scrape down your dough hook about halfway through the process. And if you don't have a stand mixer, no worries, just put it in a bowl and mix it by hand. You'll need to knead it for about 5 to 8 minutes. Neither method is superior in my opinion. I guess it just depends if you want to wash your mixer or your fingers. Either method you choose, just mix it until the dough is shiny, has a good gluten structure, and is just a little sticky to the touch. Then give it a love tap for some good luck, then cover them with a damp towel, and place them somewhere warm in your house. Now be patient and let the dough rise until it roughly doubles in size. Then grab a bread loaf pan, any size or variety that you have, and rub it down with some butter, because butter is awesome, and if you use it, you will be too. Then wet your hands a little to avoid the dough sticking to you. Loosen the dough first, and then gently take it out of the bowl. Then wet your hands again, then play a little hot potato with the dough, just to give it a rough shaping. I know, the precision here is astounding. This is not an artisan loaf, so just have fun with it. Then plop it into your baking pan. Definitely don't stress out about this part. I mean, this is why the recipe is so simple. You do not have to shape it perfectly. This is a no-hassle sourdough recipe. If you're enjoying this video, or you're someone who just enjoys simplicity, then hit that like button for me. It lets me know that this has been helpful to you. I appreciate it. Now, like I said before, this whole process takes about a day, depending on a few factors.
Now remember, sourdough uses a wild yeast, which can be unpredictable and basically has a mind of its own. But to give you an idea of a timetable for this, I fed my starter and it took about 3 hours for it to rise. For 3 hours here, the dough fermented in a bowl for about 3 hours, and finally in its baking dish, it's going to continue to ferment for about 2 to 3 hours. So on average, I'd say this process takes about 8 to 12 hours.
The key is to be patient and to always let your dough rise until it doubles in size. Keep in mind that the warmer your dough is and the more active your starter is, the faster it will rise. Now I'm using plastic wrap to cover these instead of a damp towel because the dough will be very sticky when it rises. So I spread a little oil on top and then I flip them over, and this will help to prevent it from sticking. 2.5 hours later, mine doubled in size, and there was a tiny bit of sticking, but it's nothing to sweat over. Just gently and slowly peel that plastic off. Now these beauties are ready to bake. So get them into a preheated oven and bake them at 400 degrees for 35 minutes.
Okay, check this out. Isn't that a gorgeous loaf? I gotta let these cool for about an hour or so, and then I'll cut them open for you.
Now this may not be your typical sourdough loaf, but it sure is tasty. Now I got more sourdough recipes coming your way, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, go cook something delicious for somebody you love.
Delicious.